I said an error occurred. Wait, hold on. Right, so we'll just move forward when we will. I guess I'll just lead us in.
Yeah.
So here we are then, getting ready for the race then. Of course, all 19 drivers have qualified, getting on their positions on the grid, and now they're going to get going. There might be a little bit of rust amongst these drivers. Of course, a lot of them haven't been racing in quite some time, so this is going to be an opportunity for them to dust up their cobwebs and also see how they stack up against each other, because a lot of them will be facing each other on that grid ahead of the next season. So we'll really see how these guys all stack up as the race approaches. They're just a few seconds away.
Yeah, let's have a look. I think outside the top 10, there might be a couple hard runners. I don't think we'll see any softs being put on here, at least outside the top 10. Of course, the guys who have started and qualified in the top 10 on softs will be doing now.
Yeah, I'm
Let's
having a
have a
look now.
look. Yeah,
Oh,
everyone is basically on the medium success for Carmen's list. He's decided to go onto the hards.
yeah, unique strategy there from Carmentos, and if he's able to stay in that medium pack, he will be got a good advantage there, getting that pit stop later on, and then of course putting on those medium tyres before the end of the race. Of course, there's not going to be any fear of picking up damage. Damage is turned off for these evaluation races, though. Hopefully the drivers don't take that as an excuse to get a little bit of argy-bargy. We still want to see some clean racing up on that grid, but in reality, it's just 7 of these soft runners up at the front of the grid, and they've got to try and hang on. Those softs do not last long before they start getting way past their sell-by date. So the likes of Dylan, Chubbs, Super Gamer, they're going to be very vulnerable to the cars behind very soon.
Yeah, so I think the softs won't last more than 6-7 laps maybe. They can stretch a bit, whereas the mediums will... medium runners will probably pit around lap 12 as an average. Might be seeing some to go early and some later. And of course I'm predicting Carmen's list to go quite long. So he of course has those hard tires to probably go onto the mediums at the end. Let's see how that pans out.
Indeed, we will. Of course, the start can be so unpredictable, especially at a track like Cheltenham. The first 4 corners being so tight and twisty, positions can change in the blink of an eye. You can see the strategies there at the bottom of your screen. You notice that soft to hard strategy, which is going to be a risky one. That's really pushing it on tyre degradation. But you can see a lot of these drivers up at the front on the soft tyres. That is where they're going to have to try and pull off if they want to stay in the positions that they have qualified in. So it's Killer Blue who guides the field up towards the grid. He is joined on the front row by Rocco. Of course, I'd say a handful of newcomers up at the front of the grid in the top 4, so we'll see how they stack up against some of the more experienced faces amongst them as well. Killer Blue, who had such a good run last season at the end of it. He's going to have to try and take that momentum into this season. These guys have been away for a long time. We've not seen them on track for a while, but we are ready now to get back to racing, the thing we all know and love more than anything else in the world. Here we go. 19 cars set, raring to go then, as the lights now make their appearance there. We have 3, 4, 5 lights. And we're away for the first evaluation race there. Killer Blue leads them off the lane, but it's a great start from Rocco. Rocco already up and alongside the pole set there, and they're going to go wheel to wheel at 2 racing points as well, as it's Wesker. He gets squeezed onto the inside there. He's going to go wheel to wheel. We've got a lot of contact back there. I saw Ferrari running wide there on the outside there, but Rocco still wheel to wheel with Killer for that race lead in a turn 4 as well. But Rocco's going to nose in front. Killer is going to tuck in behind underneath the rear wing. Overtake activated and back down the inside, trying to capture that lead from Rocco there. Parks it just in front of the AlphaTauri and ahead. It's got a lot of contact down there. The field stacking up there at the back there. But as Killer gets away from Rocco there, as I saw out wide, that was Super Gamer going wheel to wheel now with Wesker and getting that move done, just about holding on ahead of the racing point. So the soft runners have held station up at the front, but all hell is broken loose down there in the midfield. There are a lot of back and forth between these guys.
Yeah, definitely. So Skies, for example, getting caught up in a bit of contact as Nico and White Boy are close to get a side by side to go through turn number 12 as White Boy loses the back end there and goes for the cross.
Spins again.
That doesn't seem like a natural issue, more like a wheel issue. But we'll go back to the front of the race as Ben JS is onto the back of Rocco has a bit of a look down the inside of turn number 14, but he can't get it past. We're further down with Wesker, indeed onto the back of Super Gamer for the final corner. Super Gamer carries a lot more speed into that final corner, and the overtake is engaged for Wesker a bit off that exit. So he might go towards turn 1 as my positions are a bit messed up.
Yeah.
We'll see. Wesker down the inside, bit of ghosting as well going on there. I don't know if that's just from me or is that for the drivers as well.
I'm seeing the same in the spectator, but the show must go on regardless. Super Gamer's got that overtake switched on, but then turns it back off briefly there as he's going to sit in behind. I think we are seeing a little bit of glitching with the timings. I'm seeing the medium runners jumping up to the top of the field, so hopefully that is going to hold out there. We don't want to be seeing too many issues, but at the moment Killer Blue's got a good gap up at the front there. He's already breaking that DRS to Rocco, so he almost lost that lead at the start, had to fight to get it back, but now he's looking to really stretch his legs up at the front. He needs to on those softs, because those medium runners are going to be charging at him, so he is holding on for the time being, but it can all change there, as now the soft tyres are already starting to go off and we're going to see the medium runners coming to the fore very soon.
Yes, definitely. As we have one of the medium runners, the front one to be correct. Kvyat Chill is fairly close to the back of Captain Chops as he engaged overtake, but I think Captain Chops is having some good straight line speed there in that Mercedes. Let's see, can Chill make a move down into the hairpin? Is he close enough? Is he brake late?
Oh!
Hits the back of the Mercedes. Doesn't go through. So White Boy has some yellows. It says Spag and B Morgan are going side by side. I think Spag is through there to P15.
Spag moving up there after not waiting on the grid there. I'm looking up the road there because that's Dylan who breezes past Super Gamer. Of course, DRS will be activated from this moment on. Super Gamer getting very close to the rear end of the Red Bull, but sits just behind it for the time being. The gap at the front is 1.2 seconds, so Rocco's going to have to find some time. Otherwise, he's going to be looking behind him rather than in front to the race leader, Killer Blue. Now, of course, we've got to be waiting. Of course, we saw Chill make that mistake on the last lap there, heading into the back of Captain Chubbs, and of course, he's fairly lucky. As Adri,
he lost the rear end into turn 4 and just lost a couple seconds due to that. It's very stacked still in the middle of the field at the moment. The soft runners will lose grip very quickly here. We have Super Gamer still close to the back of Iro Dylan. Let's see, can he get close towards the long backside and towards the hairpin as well. Get up and out.
So here we go now, DRS will be activated. Dylan has dropped off a fair amount from the pack in front there, and I'm watching Ben as well. He's closing down on Rocco, but he's not got his overtake turn on. I don't think he's going for the move. Super Gamer doesn't have it either. Looks like they're all just biding their time here, not going for anything too crazy at this point there, as they're all bouncing up again. I saw Chill into the back of Chubbs there and running wide. Meanwhile, Spag continues his climb up the field. He's down the inside of Carmentos and gets the move done on the hard runner. So he moving up now through the order and getting himself more into play here, looking to move forward yet again. Skyzy closest down on Jaco. That's the battle that we're looking at down towards turn 1 there. Claims the inside line on the Alfa Romeo, but Jaco is hanging it around the outside, not giving up just yet. He's going to have to stick it around the outside of 2 and then the inside of 3, still alongside the Renault. They're going to have to fight for traction off the corner, but Skyzy gets the better of him round the outside and takes that 11th position there, and now he's got to try and get back towards the group in front, behind, trailed by Maledictus. He's got to try and work himself right into that slipstream range. Still, it's Chubbs dropping back a little bit from the group ahead, and that's going to leave him vulnerable to Chill, to Daniel, to Maledictus, to everyone stacking up behind him there. And we're seeing now the medium runners start to come into play. Chill all over Chubbs, down the inside, and Chubbs with no front grip is going to run wide, gets a bare exit though, comes back alongside the McLaren wheel to wheel, down towards turn 11, trying to get on the brakes, is squeezed out by Chill though, and Chill makes his way through. He is up into 7th place. Well, the DRS come back to bite him though. Chubbs a little bit slow on those softs. You can see him scrubbing across the track surface there, really trying to struggle for grip. Maledictus is on the back of Daniel's going to try and search for that move. The front grip is starting to close up as well. You can see Daniel straight line speed there, closing down on Chubbs, who goes a little bit defensive there, and Maledictus into the back of Daniel, forces him out wide, and then he's going to go for that switchback then. Daniel gets good traction, is going to outdo Chubbs on the exit there, and the Mercedes so struggling so much, he pits early on lap 5. The soft runners are dying off here.
Yeah, definitely, but Maledictus is still under the back of Daniel. Let's see, don't think he's close enough down towards turn number 1. And in the meantime, Rocco and Bane JS and Wesker as well, to be fair, they've closed back up to Killer Blue. And it's looking like Killer Blue will be under a bit of pressure from these three.
Expect pit stops very soon up at the front in this leading group, this leading quartet that we have now sitting in the DRS of race leader Killer Blue. We'll see if there's any exchanges of position through the pit stops or with DRS. Of course, we're waiting to see how it all shapes up. We're still watching this battle as well. P5, Dylan still heading, Super Gamer and the pack of medium runners ominously closing in, still led by QVR Chill, who must be fancied a bit in this race. If that strategy on the mediums is more helpful for race pace, he is sitting in a very nice position. He just needs to make sure he doesn't get caught up in any instance. We've seen him come close quite a few times. He just needs to watch himself out there to try and keep his nose clean, and he is on for a really good position, easily a podium I think, if he can keep this going.
Yeah, definitely. Of course, he has to catch up still to the front frame, but here he is onto the back of Super Gamer, and he might go for the move down into the hairpins. Both of them, actually Chill only uses overtake, but he's down the inside into the hairpin. Is he gonna make that stick? So we see Dylan locking up ahead, but I think Chill has got the move completed, still side by side. Keep Super Gamer as Killer blows into the pits. And now they're still side by side for the final corner. Chill just gets ahead, but Super Gamer has the overtake engaged and gets past alongside. Let's see, down towards turn number 1. Chill runs wide, and Daniel's looking for a gap as well.
Super Gamer very wide.
Indeed, Super Gamer very wide and loses 3 positions, 4 even.
Oh, it makes contact with Skyzy.
That rejoin was a bit off there, but Skyzy and Super Gamer still keep their nose kinda clean there, so no real harm done.
Yeah, of course, these guys just got to be careful. Super Gamer getting massive oversteer off of turn 6, and Jake activates the overtake. He sees that opportunity down the inside at 7. You got to be careful side by side through here. But Super Gamer yields the place there. He's losing scrap exponentially on those soft tyres and has to give way to the faster Alfa Romeo at this stage in the race. But Super Gamer, a sloppy lap, has dropped him out of contention with the front runners just for the time being. Let's see how big that undercut is with the top guys there. Killer Blue, Wesker, they've got clean air, and Chubbs gets the first penalty of this pre-season. But yeah, Killer Blue was leading that race barely in front of Rocco, but how effective is that undercut going to be? As Spag gets underneath Super Gamer there, who's really dropping back on this lap.
Yes, definitely, and I'm expecting him to pit as this yellow flag. Captain Chubbs, he's off at turn number 10, probably lost traction there. Let's see if there's anyone from move as Super Gamer looks to the back of Spaghetti Chips, but the 2 front men are into the pits and will hand the lead over to QVR Chill. There's another yellow flag that is Y2Y again. He's off at turn 13. He doesn't seem to be enjoying his time so far.
He's definitely having a tough time out there. We've got to see how this lead battle is going to shape up there. Ben GS getting held up a little bit in the pit lane now for Rocco, but how far away are they going to be as Ben? Interesting tyre choice there. He's gone for mediums as far as I'm aware.
Yeah, I'm seeing the medium tyre up here as well on my screen. So let's see how that's going to pan out. As the top 4 are now very close together still. So Chill, Daniel, Maledictus and Skyzy. They'll be looking to make some grounds on these few laps.
One thing I do want to point out is that undercut has proved to be very powerful. Wesker has jumped Rocco. Rocco was a second or 2 in front of the racing point, and now those positions have swapped as YHY retires from the race in the pit lane, which isn't great to see, given that we're looking for evaluation from these drivers. So not the best from YHY, but the show will still go on. We've still got 18 drivers, hungry drivers, looking to try and put on a show for the rest of you guys watching back at home. But anyway, Chill still leads away. Daniel just about hanging on in that DRS. Now expect these medium runners to go on for quite a few laps, yeah, but They've got to try and manage this though. They don't want to go too hard on those tyres, otherwise they'll be in deep waters by the end of the stint. Daniel gets a lot of oversteer, and Maledictus has to jerk to the left to avoid and puts on overtake there. Wheel to wheel, went to the last corner. They've got to be careful not to come together. Daniel out very wide, rejoins, still side by side with the Ferrari. It backs out eventually, tucks in underneath, but he doesn't have that DRS. Is still looking to the inside, because that's because Skyzy is trying it round the outside of turn 1 and turn 2. Can he pull that one off? There's a little bit of wheel to wheel contact there. Skyzy out wide, still side by side, gets squeezed out by Daniel there, who runs way going through 3, so they're still going to go wheel to wheel on the exit. Daniel just finds traction there. Skyzy immediately on the overtake button to try and pull back alongside, but he's going to be stuck on the outside going towards turn 6 there. Brakes very late though, gets it all locked up. Wheel to wheel still, gets squeezed a little bit by the Mercedes. Overtake again from Skyzy there. Daniel does not activate that button, so Skyzy on the inside finally grabs that 3rd place after incredible wheel to wheel action. Daniel still sitting on his rear end, but eventually I think has to concede defeat, and Skyzy moves forward up in the 3rd then after a bit of a melee at the start. He's making his comeback drive through the field and is bearing down on those top 2 now.
Scott from Chops has now retired as well, which is indeed unfortunate to see. Let's have a look. So Daniel's still looking close to the back of Skyzy, and he might be looking to get past very soon. As Skyzy gets a bit hooked in the curb on the inside, maybe Daniel will get past as he engages the overtake button and opens the DRS here. Gets the slip down and seems to be getting past fairly easily here. And let's see, Skyzy does not fight back, lets him through, and we're back from 0 basically.
Yeah, he's used a lot of his ERS to make that effort, and Daniel still has quite a bit left over, so maybe he can start actually use that to push forward a little bit. And that was quite some great racing throughout that lap there. And looking further down the field there is Adri trying to fend off Rocco down the inside. Bit of contact between them there. The Renault gets forced out wide, and that's Ben GS is going to take advantage. He's rounding outside of Adri into the final corner, and the Renault has to give way there on those fading tyres in comparison to these guys. But it's Ben GS now on those mediums, fastest lap. He's got to use these mediums now to good effect if he wants to move forward for the moment there. He closes down on Rocco. Can he get the move done?
Yeah, let's see, as he's close to the back of him, and of course Wesker's ahead as Spaghetti Chips gets past Jacob, still side by side. Brandy outside, he goes with that turn 6 hairpin, and that's the move completed for the McLaren driver.
I do want to mention actually that Car Mentalist, being on the hards, is still only 5 seconds off the race lead. So he's actually holding up very nicely there, and if he can keep that going, he could be a factor in the fight later on. So he's just hanging on to Spag, hanging on to Jekyll, and that could really benefit him in the long run there if he's able to take advantage. Nico picks up a penalty there down in 10th place. But yeah, this battle between the net race leaders, if you like, is going to be interesting. Wesker and Rocco trying to fend off a charging Ben on those mediums.
Yeah, let's have a look. So coming up towards the long straight quite soon, as the exit here is so important. Just to mention that both have quite a bit of as Ben GS loses grip and loses traction, and he's off into the grass. It looks a weird spin because we were already up into like 6th gear. I don't know how that's been caused, but
I think what happened is he may have turned on the overtake button as Dylan breezes past Adri on the straight. But I think what happened was he put on the overtake, and that surge of power spun up the rear tyres and put him round there. You've got to be careful with how you apply that overtake button. It can put you right. B Morgan down the inside indeed of Carmentals. They go wheel to wheel there. Carmentals is going to get forced a little bit out wide, and through goes B Morgan up into 7th, trying to make gains now. He's got JSD and Nico a couple of seconds off the back of these guys there. Looking more towards the front though, and Chill does not have that pressure from Maledictus of DRS, so he's able to just run his own race, and he's looking very strong there, still to make a pit stop, but at the moment QVR Chill looking very strong up at the front of this race.
Yes, definitely he is. The pit window will soon open, I reckon, for these medium runners, so I'm expecting a set towards lap number 12. I think a little bit early you might see the first ones in. And still close in the midfield fight. Spag picked up a penalty as well on the exit of turn 10 that was. Gotta be careful, I see Jacob still on his back. To be close, but Jacob doesn't have a lot of ERS, so he might not be able to get past as easily as you'd think.
Well, we'll see that DRS activate down the main straight. He's not using his overtake though, predictably there, trying to... He actually does switch it on down the straight, so he's really throwing caution into the wind there, and he's down on 4th then, so he's got to try and save that if he wants to have any real chance of getting past the McLaren in front of them. Down the back of the field, Ben on his recovery, get past Super Gamer. These guys have seen... Daniel, what's going on?
As Daniel and Skies here both into the pits, and I think Spag is in as well. Lap 10, very early for these guys. Let's see where they come out in comparison to, for example, Dylan, who wasn't too far off them, I reckon.
Daniel got held in the pits a little bit by Spag as he was going past there, so that's going to hold him back just a little bit. Skies gets on his way behind these guys on hard, so they are planning to go to the end of the race, but they're going for a real undercut on the front too, and we'll see how that pans out there. They've got to try and make the most of these next few laps as Super Game penalty for speeding, but now these guys have really got to get on with it then and try and chase down those guys in front.
Yeah, Super Gamer unfortunately has retired as well. I don't really know why, but I have to see. So yeah, Jekyll's still on pressure from the Morgan Carmentelis and JSD onto the back of him. Without a lot of ERS, 16%, that's not a lot compared to the guys behind who are 60 or above. Will be very difficult for the Alfa Romeo driver.
Yeah, he could be in deep waters down the straight, but we'll just have to wait and see how that pans out there. Yellows in Sector 1, that's Super Gamer's a ghost car, kind of just driving his way throughout turn 1, 2 and 3, but I think that Jekyll is going to be in trouble here then, because the overtake is immediately switched on by B Morgan there. Jekyll uses everything in his reserves to try and stay ahead of the game, but how much of an effect is that going to have? Bill Morgan closes him down to the inside, going towards the hairpin, and he looks to have his nose in front. JSD looking at Carmentelis as well, but doesn't follow through with the manoeuvre. But B Morgan up in a P3 as now Chill and Maledictus both responding, and it seems like all these medium runners are going to come in there and respond to those guys behind then who came into that pit stop in the last few laps. So a lot of the medium runners into the pits now. It's going to be a busy pit lane now.
Yes, definitely as Carmentelis now inherits the leads, and respectively all these drivers going on to the hard tire. And Kilby getting past as well, and he's looking very strong on pace so far. He's a couple seconds away. Some Wesker spun. I think he made some contact with Rocco there. Was into turn 1. This is very close with Chill there as well. He's looking around, he's outside.
Round outside. Better contact between them. But through goes Chill. Yeah. But is it going to last for much longer?
Behind. Yeah, Wesker still onto the back of Chill, but I think Chill's engaged some overtake to pull ahead there and make sure he's got the move completed. And I'm behind. Let's see at the positions, because Mala is still ahead of Daniel. Skies is just behind Ben JS now. And Spag has gained a bit on B Morgan and Jekyll. He's 2 seconds ahead.
Yeah, so he's now going to try and march forward there. Everyone except Nico and Andrew, the Spaniards, came into their pit stop there and are moving forward in this Shady's Grand Prix. So we'll see if these guys are coming in very shortly. On the last of the medium runners, I suspect that they will probably be in this lap and looking to roll forward with that, but it's not been the greatest race for either of them so far as the race just begins to settle down. We're a little under halfway through this opening round, if you like, but it's Killer Blue up at the front, couple of seconds lead, and it's Nico predictably in. But the leading contender to challenge Killer Blue is probably going to be this man, QVR Chill, running around in 6th place there. The gap between them sitting at around about 9 seconds, so it's a long way to go. And even though he has the tyre advantage there, he still could be stretched to chase down Killer Blue up the road. So Killer still has a good chance at this there. If he looks after his tyres, he's still got a great opportunity of winning this race.
Yeah, definitely, but as you mentioned, 9 seconds is a long way to go. Of course, he has 6 lap fresher tyres, so that will help him in the battle for that.
Maledictus very late on the brakes, down inside of Wesker, a little bit of argy-bargy between them there. Wesker immediately puts on the overtake to come back around the outside and down the inside now with the Ferrari in a 7 there. Maledictus trying to hold it around the outside, but to no avail. I think he's going to try back and makes contact with the rear wheel of the Racing Point and spinning off to the outside of turn 8 there. Maledictus having to drop back is overtaken by Spag as well there, so maybe just was a bit too ambitious keeping that fight going, and Maledictus has gone from fighting for really high points positions to outside of the points altogether. That's going to be tough luck for him there. He's going to have to really work now to pull that back.
Yeah, definitely. At least he's not out of the race. That's, of course, without damage, that's quite hard to do. But he's onto the back of Spag now, so he'll not really be happy with that, I reckon.
Yeah, Spag, of course, with a lap holder tyres, so we'll see if Maledictus is able to take advantage of that and close up there. Wesker is now going to be coming under threat from Daniel, who has 5 lap pressure tyres. He is going to be on the hunt for that racing point there, who has, of course, had his incident a few laps ago, is now fighting in amongst the guys that started on the mediums there, so he's a little bit on the back foot here, but he's still got to try and hang on in there. He's still got Daniel chasing him down. B Morgan and Andrew there. B Morgan cruises past on the straight to Andrew, who still hasn't pitted, I've noticed. He's stayed out a long time on those mediums there. He's been overtaken left, right and centre, but yeah, he's really going quite ambitious on the strategy over half distance pretty much in this race, and he's still not made a pit stop.
Yeah, it's very ambitious from the Renault driver indeed. Don't know where he wants to go, and I reckon he'll go into the hard pretty soon though. We'll have to see about that.
Or is he going really aggressive and going medium to soft? I'd actually really respect that, because that is going to be one tough strategy to pull off, and I'm not even sure it's possible to pull off without getting a puncture, but we'll see what the Spaniard does go for here. I reckon Wesker is going to be under attack. One advantage that he does have over some people, but not Daniel, is that ERS, or he's got about 80% to use, but so does that Mercedes in question, challenging him there, and I reckon they're both going to be turning it on down the back straight. The Wesker turns it off very early there, going out of the traction zone of turn 13, and Daniel actually turns it back down because he realises he's not close enough to get a move done. So Wesker deploying that overtake quite ambitiously there, and he's actually showing pretty good pace because he is actually sticking quite close to QVR Cells. They all start to stack up behind Iro Dillon, so we could see some battling in the next few laps.
Yeah, definitely Cells close the gap to the Red Bull driver on those fresher tyres, and we'll be getting past pretty soon as Jaco gets past Adri as well into the hairpin. And Adri's still staying out.
Wow, that is quite admirable, to be honest, from Andrew. But the strategy has been a bit more of a pain for him, to be honest. He's got now GSD and also Nico closing him down. So yeah, that's the strategy. You can just see the understeer that he's suffering from. GSD is going to try and drive round the outside of turn 3 and 4. That's how effortless it is for him there. Just getting much better traction than the Renault, who's just absolutely stretched those tyres to their braking point. We're over half distance, still not made a pit stop there. You see he's having to lift and coast to look after those tyres, running wide. He's got no grip left in them.
Yeah, I'm quite curious to see if he has any explanation for staying out that long, but we'll have to see. Killer Blue is now only a second away from Carmentalist, and Kill's looking really quick here. And still has 70% ERS as well, which is quite insane, to be honest.
Yeah, he has done a very good job there. Chill was a little bit slow off 12 and 13, so he's not going to be close enough to Iro Dillon. Both of them have a decent amount of ERS in the reserves there. Daniel's closing down on Wesker, but doesn't have the overtake turned on, so he is not going to go for the move, I don't believe. Still sits behind, going into that hairpin, sitting back for now. But now Killer Blue, he's had an image of peace and serenity up at the front, and now he's going to be met with some interaction. Carmentos will be boxing very soon, I suspect, but now Killer Blue is going to have to try and arrange an overtake there. He's driven up on his own in this race so far, as Chill is looking very threatening to the back of Iro Dillon. But can Killer overtake? Can he get this move done and keep ahead of the game there with the medium starters trying to close him down?
Yeah, so it will be very interesting to see. So Chill still looking to the back of Dillon, but has a hard time getting past so far. He's very late on the brakes there, down at turn 6. Has to try somewhere else.
He's using that overtake as well, out of 6 towards 7, so he is quite ambitious, really searching for overtaking opportunities there. Speaking of overtaking opportunities, I reckon Killer's going to have one very soon there, as he got yellows there. I think that's Adra actually just coming out the pits. He's finally got some fresh rubber on, but that strategy has cost him so much time, and he is a long way off the back end of the pack now. Killer Blue, he's got a lot of overtake, a lot of ERS to work with, and he deploys it right away. He's got a 5-second gap to Rocco, so he seems pretty comfortable at the moment if he can just look after those tires. Closing down Carmentos, who doesn't cover the inside line. He knows that defense is futile, and Killer Blue snatches the lead very easily there without a pit stop to make. He's in such a calm position. If he just looks after those tires, he's well on his way to this race win. As now Chill trying to close down, but not close enough. Daniel now down the inside of Wesker. Can he finally make that move stick there and keep with QVR? Cello's still stacked up behind the Red Bull. Wesker does not give it up though. They're wheel to wheel going into the last corner there. Wesker takes the curve on the inside and has to yield that possession. Has the RS. Those Carmentos does come into the pits now from P2. Now in Chell down the inside. Ambitious move on Dylan. Dylan though holds it around the outside with momentum there, but he's still not cleared the McLaren, who's still hanging in there on the inside of turn 2 and then on the outside of turn 3. Dylan comes back though, locking up brakes, trying to get it all slowed down there. Works for traction off the corner as well. Sliding from Chow, has to get right out the throttle there, and that overtaking opportunity does not come off. He's having a really frustrating time by Nairo Dylan, who's defending admirably on those tyres, trying to hold on for that podium, but how much longer can he hold up there? Chow not quite getting through on that occasion.
Yeah, not yet. He's coming through, and that allows Daniel and Wesker and Ben and Skyzy, all of them closing up. I wonder what Ben is gonna do. If he's gonna, I don't think he can stay out on these mediums till the end.
No way.
That'd be 20 laps. So I'm reckoning he's gonna go towards the softs, but a bit of a shame because he's showing a really great pace, especially with that slow moment here at the beginning of the race somewhere.
Dylan is still using overtake in his defence. He's really desperate to hold on to this P3, and he's actually given Chill a little bit more to worry about over the shoulder of the McLaren there. He's got the Mercedes of Daniel closing him down. Late defensive move from Dylan there. He's really looking to try and hold that place, but he cuts the inside of the hairpin and gets a penalty for his troubles. So he's now struggling more and more to keep holding this possession with the rubber that he's got underneath in there. Chill runs wide and picks up a penalty himself, so penalties galore in this fight. But Chill closing down the end again. He's going to use the absolute last of his overtaking reserves, and he's going to go for the same move again down the inside. This time though, he gets far enough ahead and finally through on the Red Bull. Dylan has to concede that podium as further down the field, Carmentos now on those fresh mediums goes to work, and he cruises past GSD or Jari, so he goes through up in the 12th and is chasing points. He's got to try and make the most of it now. I say points, well it's a pre-season race, so not really, but anyway, he's looking for that top 10 though, and getting down there. He's got a few seconds to chase down, but with those mediums on the car, that shouldn't be too difficult there. He's going to be absolutely flying up to these guys.
Yeah, I reckon so. He'll close in at a rapid pace. Further up ahead is still trying to break away from Dylan here. He's looking to have good pace, but I don't think Killblue is in his range anymore. Rocco might still be. So let's see if the McLaren can close up to the AlphaTauri up ahead.
Dylan maybe under threat yet again. Daniel is very close and with a lot of overtake to deploy, and he's going to be using as much of it as he can down this back straight, but Dylan still has DRS off of Chill, and that might help in his defence there. We're seeing them down the back straight now. Daniel getting closer and closer. No overtake is active, and further back indeed. There you got Ben now on those mediums challenging his teammate Wesker. Daniel went for a late roll on John Dylan as well. Doesn't quite come off. The racing points are still side by side down into the last corner. The inside line is with Wesker, but we see Ben running out wide then, trying to keep those mediums alive then at this phase in the Grand Prix there. They are still going wheel to wheel. Dylan is closed right up to the back of Chill, so he may try and come back at the McLaren. Ben GS is through, but opens up a gap on the inside, and Wesker is going to take it side by side again, going through turn 2, through turn 3, Ben runs wide, and through turn 4, the switchback comes into play from Wesker, but doesn't quite come off, and Skyzy now is with these guys as well, so really tense battling from 3rd down to 8th, and yeah, the field's still very bunched up at this point, but Chill is going to have to try and break away, because if Dylan holds in his DRS, he may come back in the McLaren very soon.
Yeah, definitely, especially with Chill not having a lot of DRS, it will be tough for him to break that DRS. Let's see, Dylan still has somewhat of DRS, decent amount of 40%. So let's see, 7 tenths is the gap, and he'll still have DRS unless he makes a huge mistake here.
Dylan making a little bit of an error going through turn 11. That's going to compromise his line through 12, but he may still have enough in the tank there. I reckon if Daniel went all out with the ZRS, he could probably get the move done, but how much would that compromise in there? He's a little bit far away on this occasion though, and Dylan has got to try and pull it back. Skyzy indeed now closing down on Wesker. Can he get this move done now?
Down the inside of the racing point, late on the brakes he goes. Let's see, first gear for a bit more rotation there on the exit. It seems like Skyzy has it done. Yes, he has. And that's Skyzy up into P7.
Skyzy through indeed there, but will Wesker come back there? He's got that overtake activated there, so does Skyzy, but he's running out, so now down the inside goes Wesker, trying to come back at Skyzy there. He's wheel to wheel through turn 1 and 2, trying to hold it wheel to wheel there. Skyzy's trying to pinch him to the inside. Wesker's not having any of it, and they still side by side through 3 now there. Skyzy trying to get a platform to put power right now at 4 to try and clear Wesker, and they've finally done it. Is there going to be a lunge back from the racing point? Will he finally yield this position though? He is going to sit in behind Skyzy, who finally moves up to 7th and now chasing Ben on those aging medium tires. He's still pushing. Dylan struggling to stay with Chill, and if he makes any sort of errors it's going to drop him outside and vulnerable to the cars behind.
Yes, definitely. He's desperately indeed trying to stay within the DRS of Chill. Let's see. Sven, yes, is still out on those mediums. Let's see when he pits as well. And in behind, Carmentos is close up to this little train on Spack, Maledictus and B. Morgan. So let's see if he can get past the Haas driver.
So now Daniel again, he's closer to Dylan, and Dylan is farther away from Chill, but again he switches off that overtake. He's being very conservative, very cautious, not wanting to go absolutely all out, and maybe just waiting for Dylan to drop out of that DRS, and he could have an easy overtake. And he gets very close on the brakes to the Red Bull, and almost into the back room was Ben GS as well. So they're all stacking up there. Skyzy had a bit of oversteer coming off of that hairpin, and he struggles to get the power down as Ben. We're at such a point in the race now with less than 8 laps to go. Can he possibly do it? It's going to be such a task. He'll put 21 laps. That is a lot of mileage on not very hard rubber as yet.
Comments, let's go and past B. Morgan. Looks like it's up ahead. It looks like Mala's getting past Spag rounding out of turn 1. Comments, let's down the inside though of B. Morgan. And let's see, B. Morgan still hanging around the outside of turn 2. Keeps his nose in a little bit of contact there. I think Carmentelis should have this on those fresh mediums. Below of contact once again, but it's Carmentelis pulling through, and now he's up into P11.
It's Carmentelis now. He's got a couple of cars to try and navigate if he wants to get that P9. I don't think he's really got a chance of anything above that, so maybe staying out a little bit longer has hampered his chances in this Chinese Grand Prix. And still, Dylan, you have to credit Dylan. On old tyres, he's doing an admirable job of staying with QVR Chill. And on those hard tyres, they're 14 laps old and nearly 15, but he's beginning to struggle more and more. I think he will still get DRS down the straight, but he did drop outside the window very briefly there. Let's see, he's got the overtake on. He's not gonna, he does have DRS, sorry, but Daniel is closing all the time. He's got a lot of straight line speed on the Red Bull there, who's going a little bit defensive. He's wary, but he doesn't have to be panicking just yet, because Daniel still sits in behind. Ben is still keeping with these guys, and I'm waiting to see him pit any moment now. But is he going to do it though? He's still staying out another lap. As further back, there's another move from Carmentos there. He's going wheel to wheel with Spag, who's going to try and squeeze him towards the outside of the last corner and maintain that 10th place there. But DRS is going to be active there. Carmentos doesn't have much overtake in the tank, but he's still going to give it everything there. He's not getting left much room by the McLaren now. He's going to have to go right around the outside here. He's got more grip though. And still, Spag holding his own on the inside there, trying to work his way into a squeezing position, but Carmentos doesn't give it up, and there's still wheel to wheel and exit there, but the fresh rubber prevails, and Carmentos is up in the 10th place now, with Maledictus up the road, but Spag is coming back at him, look there, and goes for a late lunge, down the inside, Carmentos squeezing towards the apex there, and there's contact between them. B. Morgan tries to get his way right outside of Spaghetti Chips, but doesn't quite get through, has to send him behind the McLaren. So after a tough battle, Carmentos up in the 10th and now chasing on to the car of QVR Maledictus in 9th there. As still, this train, it's a bit of a status quo at the moment there. Dylan still hanging on to Chill, and I think Chill's charge has faltered because Rocco Reggie does look very secure in that second place though. Killer Blue dominant out in front.
Yeah, Killer Blue is looking very pacey out there. And still this train of 6 cars. They're very close together, but nothing much happens really at the moment. They're also stationary and maybe waiting for the last couple of laps to maybe complete a move as Carmentelis now onto the back of Maledictus round the outside. Can he make it work? It looks like he can. It's a bit of grip on the outside as he has a better exit as well and gets up into P9.
Carmentos moving forward then with everything he can get there. B Morgan picks up a penalty. We've got to see how these penalties, because they could change the running order. I know Chill has one. I'm pretty sure Dylan has one. I'm not sure about Daniel. So if you can actually run through us there, as this battle has started to thin out a little bit there. Let's see how these guys are all faring.
So Chill's on 1 penalty indeed. Dylan's on 1 penalty. Daniel's on 2 warnings, so you gotta watch out. Ben completely clean, so well done to him. Skyzy is on 1 penalty, and Wesker is on 2 warnings, I believe.
I think at this point there, with just over 4 laps to go, Ben, well, just over 5 laps to go, sorry, I think Ben is going for this, you know. I think he is trying to get the softs to the end. You can see he's struggling to stay in that DRS window now. Those tyres are completely gone. Wesker does pick up a penalty, and indeed, but yeah, there's nothing left in those tyres, I think. As I'm watching Dylan, did he get that DRS? I don't know. Daniel has so much in reserve now. He's got nearly 90%. He's surely got good for the moves in, and he's switched on the overtake down the back straight there. There is no DRS for Dylan, and maybe that's the opportunity Daniel's been waiting for there. He's going all out with the overtake mode now. They're closing down on Dylan, but Dylan defends the inside line there, and now to the outside goes Daniel there. Can he pull it around the outside of the Red Bull? Gets forced off the track by Dylan. The Dutchman is able to hold on just ahead, and now we got yellows down there. I think that's Morgan who was spinning off in the background, but yeah, Daniel had that go. Ambitious move around the outside of Dylan, didn't quite come off.
Yeah, it didn't really come off, as a bit of argy-bargy there by Dylan as well. Let's see if he can hold on. Yes, he's seemingly back into the DRS of QPR Chill up ahead. And the advantage is falling away as Jacob's pitting there, and B Morgan as well. So let's see.
I think they're just going for fastest lap at this point, to be honest, because I don't think they've really got anything to gain at this point there, especially we saw Morgan having that off. So they're going through the pit lane now, and we'll see if they're able to put out some really quick lap times with those soft tyres. They're going to be flying in these last few laps.
Yeah, definitely we'll see some fast lap from the 2 of them, I reckon. So let's see how that unfolds. But still, we have the 6-car train. Although Daniel's fallen back a little bit.
He made a mistake with turn 10, yeah.
Yeah, right. I don't know if he has the DRS, and he might be under pressure from Ben. But of course, Danny has a lot of reserves on the DRS, and he's enabling it right away to get back into the DRS of Dylan.
Watch Skyzy. Skyzy is pretty close, but his lack of ERS is what's costing him here chances to move forward at the end of this race. He does have that 1 penalty, and the 2 cars ahead of him are clean. So we know he's got to try and get a move on here to try and move forward, but it is going to be difficult there. But we know the grip struggles that Ben is having, so we'll see there. He's going to activate the overtake mode now and is closing him down there. Ben gets very defensive to the inside there. You can see that lack of ERS come into play for Skyzy. He's not able to get alongside, get a move done. He's looking to that inside of turn 2, but Ben covers it off immediately there. Very proactive in his defence against the Frenchman in the Renault, and still he does not give way to the charging Renault behind him.
Yeah, but the charging Renault is indeed still looking for the move. As down towards turn 6, is he gonna go for it? Down onto the brakes. He's very late on them. A little bit of contact. This guy seems to be getting the better exit of that, and is through up into P6, but has lost the DRS now. That'll be a worry for him, and he might come under pressure once again from Ben or Wesker.
Yeah, he's got to try and get going now, because if Ben's tyres may not make the distance, but if they don't, we know he's probably not going to get a penalty, as last time we checked he did have 0 warnings, so he's looking pretty good in that respect. So Skyzy is going to have to push, but Ben, if he can hang on to that DRS, he may still be in decent shape there. Dylan now is in real deep waters now, because he's dropped out of that DRS yet again, and straight away the overtake mode kicks in. But for both of them there, Dylan's using everything he can in his defence, but the DRS is now activated there. Is it going to hold Daniel back though? He's closing, looks to the inside. Dylan gets a little bit defensive. Daniel into the back of the Red Bull very slightly, but holds on. Wesker tries round the outside of Ben GS, but that move doesn't quite come off, and he has to sit up behind his teammate, de facto teammate for now, sitting in behind. And Dylan, he's going back and forth for that DRS, but he's managed to salvage it down the straight, and that's going to just keep him afloat ahead of Daniel just for now.
Yeah, it does seem like Dylan is he's doing everything he can to hold on to this 4th position, and he's doing very well in that regard. So I gotta say credits to him. for now, but Daniel is looking feisty and he wants to get past. It's just a matter of when and how he's gonna try this.
Yeah, of course, less than 3 laps to go now in this Chinese Grand Prix. It's been an impeccable drive from Killer Blue. He's already at turn 10. He's just been absolutely dominant, and he's kept those tyres on the road as well, as Jaco predictably sets the fastest lap of the race. It's a huge lap time there as well. So yeah, he was very comfortable up at the front, and B Morgan actually just tops that time. So I think they're going to go back and forth in these last few laps. Got yellows there. That is Spag who's gone off there down at turn 8, and he drops up behind Nico, so he is outside of that range now, and he is down into 13th place, and I think he's not got much more to fight for in this race there. He's way outside. It's Daniel. Look at how close he is to Dylan now, and I don't think Dylan's got much more to fight with. He tries to break that toe. He's going back and forth. They're left and right down the straight, but the DRS is going to be activated there, and late defensive move from Dylan, but Daniel is going around the outside and pulls several car lengths clear already. Will Wesker back through on Ben down the back straight there, and he is going to pick up that position as well. Daniel is passed, and if he can get in that, if he can stay, just needs to stay with QVR Chill, and he keep it clean, he will grab that podium there as they're all catching Rocco. Look at this, Rocco's tyres seem to be going off now.
Yeah, it does seem like his tyres are not holding on for much longer, and Chill is only 1.3 seconds away from the AlphaTauri. So maybe if Rocco's tyres drop off, maybe Chill has a chance at getting past Rocco.
Indeed. Actually, what's Rocco's situation on penalties? I think he might have one, but just a quick double check at that.
I'll have a look for that. He does not have one, he only has one warning.
Oh, well done to him then. So it looks like he may be safe at the moment, but he has to keep those tyres on the island there. They could be in puncture territory, and one thing you got to remember, Killer's tyres are actually a lap older, so he's going to be struggling just as much there. He's got to try and keep those and hope that they don't give up on him right at the end of this Chinese Grand Prix. We're looking now, Dylan, his tyres are also going off the cliff, and now Skyzy is putting more and more pressure on him now. I think Dylan is going to have to work here to keep this position afloat. I think they both have 3 seconds of penalties there, so it's going to be a fair fight now for this 5th place there, but can Dylan hang on? So they both are absolutely bingo on ERS, but Skyzy's using the absolute last bit to close up to Dylan. Now goes to the outside towards the hairpin, but Dylan's defended it nicely. The switchback may come through though for the Frenchman. Can he grab traction on the exit there? But Dylan looks to have just held it on the inside. Goes very defensive there. Skyzy looks round the outside of the final corner there, runs slightly over the white line. DRS activated again. Dylan covers, now back down the inside there. They're going to go wheel to wheel. Skyzy breezes past on the main straight and looks like he's going to get it if he just parks the bus. Going through turn 1, turn 2, yes, Skyzy up into 5th at the dying moments now in the last lap of this Chinese Grand Prix. He runs 5th as Chill reining in on Rocco, but all Rocco has to do is keep it on the island. The P2 should be his.
Yeah, it's gonna be very tough though on very old tyres, as Chill is close up almost a second in the last lap. So it's gonna be tough for Rocco to keep that position on track. Chill will probably have a go. Let's see how that unfolds in the coming half a lap, as Killable is 10.3 seconds ahead. That's quite outstanding.
Yeah, he has driven such a dominant race there, and we're looking for him on the back straight there. His tyres are screaming at him, but he's just going to bring it home. 2 more corners for him to negotiate there. Chill, is there going to be a last gasp attempt here on Rocco Reggie there? We know he's got 3 seconds of penalties, but I'm sure he's still going to give it everything there. They're both good, rolling out everything with the overtake there, but Chill doesn't have any left, and he's running out there. Rocco still has a little bit more in hand, as now Killer Blue round the final corner nice and cleanly. He is going to win the first evaluation race there. Looking down the field there, late move from Carmentos there, round the outside of Ben GS, who has to get much earlier on the brakes, and Maledictus looks for the switchback, doesn't quite get it. How are the penalties going to shape this up there? Rocco, Daniel takes the podium there. Skyzy ends up 5th. Dylan at 6th, Wesker 7th there. Carmentos comes home in 8th then after that late charge. Ben 9th, Maledictus 10th. Jar will be 11th there. Nico comes through 12th. Spag behind him 13th there. And we're waiting for the last few cars to come over the line. And that has been quite a remarkable Chinese Grand Prix. I've thoroughly enjoyed that one. There was a lot of action, especially in that podium fight, as now we're just seeing Jaco, Morgan and eventually Adri all finishing up there. But Killer Blue, that is a statement there. A 10-second win in this opening round there. What a drive from him.
Yeah, he's definitely been looking by far the strongest one in this field. And fair play to Rocca as well, and a couple others. Ben, of course, he's been looking quick. Wesker, chill as well. So it's looking like a very packed, yeah, field of drivers here.
Yeah, that you can really see how they all operate on track. I did forget how a lot of these drivers are from D2 last season. They put on a show week in, week out, and they've done it yet again here. So yeah, that was a thoroughly enjoyable first evaluation race. Thanks to all the drivers for showing up, for putting in a shift, and of course we'll be looking through those as well to round up the division placements. We've still got 2 more races ahead of us at France and at Great Britain ahead of the season. So yeah, that is going to be it then. I don't think we're going to keep you waiting for too long in this race though. We want to be wrapping this up a little bit quickly. So yeah, that is Killer Blue on the top step of the podium there, and yeah, that is going to spell good things for him going forward into this championship there. He looks in great form.
Yeah, he does, and fair play to Rocco and Danny on the podium as well, and anyone else who's raced here tonight to entertain us quite a bit then.
Yes, indeed. So with that then, we can see our results there in front of him. I'm just going to run down that there. There you go. Fastest lap being Morgan, shout out to him. But yeah, Killer Blue, a dominant winner, never really faced a threat, and fairly deserving of that race victory. But yeah, I don't think there's really much more for us to say then. So, yep, without much more to say, I've been Daka, he's been Verstappen, and until next time, we'll see you later.